Good morning, it's Friday Studio Notes, and I just wanted to say a quick hello. I've had a busy week this week, been having some decorating done in the house, which might not seem related to art, but it really is, because I'm going to turn my hallway, which is quite a large hallway, and it's always been a wasted space in our house, but we're going to turn it into a mini gallery for my work and invite people to come by appointment to see my work, people who are interested in buying. And so this is my experiment in direct selling. It won't start until April because my work's all going to a show in March. But we had the hallway decorated because the hallway in our house is big, a bit cavernous, and it hasn't really been used for anything. It's a bit of a wasted space, so this is a way to use it effectively. But it needed tidying up, so it's had a lovely coat of a gorgeous Pharaoh and Ball, very light green colour. It looks lovely. And the next thing to do is, after my show ends at the end of March, we will hang work in the space, and then I'll start advertising to let people come by appointment. So I'm very excited about that. So that's been happening. It's been a bit disruptive. And I'm also resolving and finishing up work from the series that I've been working on since the beginning of the year. I finished 3 or 4 paintings from that series completely finished, sealed and framed and ready for the show in March. But I would like to get some more finished if I can. And this series has been quite laborious, and I don't know, I probably mentioned, but because my work seems to be shifting and it's not quite got to wherever it's going yet. And so I've gone through a lot of iterations on paintings, kind of feeling my way forward. So I want to show you the current state of play. I think it's always interesting to see where somebody is with their work. So I'll show you where I am and what I think I'm going to do with the pieces that I have ongoing, and which ones probably just need to be put aside for a while. I love lots of things about this. I love the colours that have come and the drips, and what I love about the effect is this was dripping paint through wet paint. So it's not just straightforward drips, and that brought all kinds of wonderful effects and lovely colours. Like up in here, this web of drips that dried before they'd made it down, and these different shades because this was dripping through grey. Can you see there? I love that. But as an overall thing, it's still unfinished. And so I have to decide what to do with that next. This one is left over from an earlier series. And I thought I'd completely messed it up. At one point it was very close to being finished, and then I went crazy on it and it didn't work out. But now that I look at it, I really like a lot of this. And so I think this might be something I can resolve fairly easily if I just put some thought into it. I've actually turned it upside down from the way it had been. And can you see that almost looks like a building of some kind there? I don't know if I might turn that into a building. It wasn't intended that way. But I love a lot of the effects in here, and there's a lot of depth because this was painted over, then sanded back, and then I started again on it. And there's tons of glazes in here. Can you see where it's sanded there? And also some old bubble wrap that's been sanded back through, and some scratching in there. There's just a lot of very lovely things on here that I wouldn't want to lose. So what I need to think about here is just composition and clarifying what it is I love about this. Actually, I think this is really close to something good. So I'm going to probably work on that one today. Next is this one, which I think you've seen before, and I've done nothing on it since the last time I posted about it. This definitely needs something else. But there are things I really like about it. It certainly captures the atmosphere of the storm we were having recently. I just think more interest needs bringing into that bottom part. And something needs to happen. Yeah, more needs to happen in that bottom part. It's quite dull. I did scratch into it and make different effects, which look nice close up. But when you stand back from a distance, there's just not enough happening. Quite like the colour scheme. I don't want to change too much about that, but I do need to do something with that foreground. So that's just something to think about. This one might not look like very much, probably doesn't look like very much, but what I like about this came about by accident, is this strip of colour along the middle. And the colours are not bright enough at the moment. Those are whatever were there on the painting that I covered over. But I would like to strengthen those colours, make them more vibrant, make this foreground really, unvibrant so that it sets off against them. Keep the sky fairly simple, but put some extra interest in there. And then I've drawn pencil here. I might try turning this into a little, almost representational. So I might have some little houses. Can you see the roofs there? I might turn these colour blocks into little houses. So that's a job for later. And then I have these smaller ones which are getting to the stage of having details added. Apart from that red one, I don't like the composition of that at the moment, so I need to do something with that to bring interest into that whole left-hand side, which is all red. But the green ones, I'm quite happy with the designs. And what I need to do now is I just want to bring some interest into areas that don't have any, so that when you look at them close up, there's something to look at as well as from far away. So I kind of like that little detail work because you don't have to worry about the major pieces. Then I have what I call my lost children. This is one of them. I quite like things about this, but it's not anything at the moment. I don't know what I'm doing with it. When you don't have any idea what you're doing as the artist, nobody else has any idea either. So the person looking at it can't get anything from it because you didn't put anything into it. And that's where this one is at the moment. This one, I was building up glazes on this one. It's not meant to be anything at the moment. So this is a series of glazes onto a white background. I was experimenting with what would happen if I was all glazes and no solid areas, and the answer is it gets very mushy and dull. But what I do have here is a nice rich background for painting on at some point. So the point I want to make about the lost children is just that we all have a big pile of unfinished or failed paintings, or I think most of us do. I shouldn't say we all. There might be a sole person somewhere out there who doesn't have this problem. But for most of us, this is something that we have. And if you have this pile, don't let them drag you down. Either sand them back, paint over them, or keep them until they do speak to you. But keep them somewhere, maybe out of the way, I would suggest, so that they don't drag you down. And that's what's been happening to me. They're in the way, and so they start to pull you down. So what I'm doing is I've sorted them into this. These are the ones that are working for me. These are the ones that are lost children at the moment. My lost children are going to get stored away somewhere where they don't get in my way and where I don't look at them all the time. And the ones that I think I can develop quickly, those are the ones I've just showed you. Those ones I'm going to work through one by one, taking the actions that I described, and see if I can bring them to resolution. So that's where things are standing for me this week. About to go into the weekend. I have a lot to do this weekend painting. Hopefully I'll get some good painting time in. Then next week I'm teaching my course again, which has been ongoing. We're in the third week of a 6-week course, but we have a 1-week break. This course is called Find Your Voice. It's a follow-on from my Find Your Joy course. And it's for artists who are not struggling to get into the studio and paint, who love painting, who enjoy it, but who maybe want to push their work to a new level or not quite sure about why it's not going to that new level. And so in this course, or who want to define a unique style. And so in the course that I'm currently halfway through, we're working on how to use things like composition and tonal contrast and use of colour and mark making to tell a story with your work and to identify what kind of story it is that you want to tell as an artist. So it's very exciting. It seems to be going really well, and I'm really enjoying teaching it, but that's a lot of work. So that's coming up next week. I have a lot more to work on with that. And hopefully finalize some of these paintings that you've seen. So I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.